No, this account's not a joke. The April's Fool's joke. That was a joke. Besides the news interview I did where they called me Colonel Sanders, you can find that in the playlist Proof if you desire. The little kid in the red shirt there, that's my father, and that's my grandparents who raised me, and that's Uncle Harley, and that's Uncle Alan. This page is dedicated to the history of Colonel Sanders and who he was, and to get rid of the misinformation that people have about him out there. It's also transparency between Kentucky Fried Chicken and Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken's history, which brings more trust to the brands. But no, this page is 100% true. It's facts and whatnot. I'm advertising for the Colonel's other nephew's chain, Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. He had a lot of history with the Colonel in starting Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I'm educating people on that too, so they have a better understanding and appreciation for the brand. This is my Uncle James Wilbur Sanders, who was a Kentucky Colonel and a Columbus, Indiana franchise operator, and he was the brand ambassador for a short time in the 80s after his uncle, my uncle, Colonel Harlan Sanders, died. This is Clarence Sanders, my two great-grandfather, who was James' father. I'll show you James' brother next, who is my great-grandpa. This was James' brother, Charles Edward Sanders. He was my great-grandfather, my grandpa's father, the one I showed you in the photo with the Colonel and the family. He was a barber. There's actually a few newspaper clippings from back in the day. That's him as well. At his barber shop. He ran every barber out of town. He was the best one there was. That's another clipping of him coming out of the front entrance shop of his barber shop. The thing about the Colonel's brother Clarence, my great-great-grandfather, he was also a barber. But that's also one of my aunts, one of the Urikis. There's actually quite a few nephews and nieces of the Colonel around today, and grandchildren. It just happens that I'm one of the only ones with the last name Sanders. There's a few others of us, but there's not many nephews with the last name Sanders left. But yeah, this is completely real. The whole joke video that went viral with 3 million views so far was my April Fool's prank that I pulled last year at the same time. The biscuit recipe was 100% real, but that was from his book, 20 Favorite Recipes of Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, which he used to hand out to people and you used to be able to purchase. You still can buy them on eBay. But I made that video completely a joke, and I'm glad that you picked that out. But the whole page is not a joke. This was at Uncle James' funeral in 1989. I don't know who these two ladies are, but that's Erin Lee Cummings. That's my grandpa Charles. That's Mildred, the Colonel's daughter, one of the daughters, and my grandpa Ed. This was Uncle James and Grandpa Charles as children. That's Charles, that's James. And just for funsies, this was the Colonel when he was younger as well. Also, that's Cousin Lee and Uncle Harley at behind the scenes at a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken commercial shoot back in the 60s. Lee used to be the president of Kentucky Fried Chicken up until '64 when it sold, and he decided to branch off and do his own thing.